Hi, I'm Steve Clifford. We're here on the beautiful British Columbia Sunshine Coast. This bee yard is home for the Sunshine Coast Beekeepers Club. Um, we're going to do a video on raising queen cells, making splits, and planting the queen cells. So first thing to do is get this cell builder ready, and then we'll graft. This is a very simple little one hive system. This hive is at once the cell builder, the cell finisher, and provides the grafting material. So it's very simple. What we have now is one box of brood, and a queen excluder, and the cell box. What's extremely critical here is that the bees are only flying to the bottom entrance. They can't have any other extraneous entrances. They can only be flying to the standard bottom entrance. And we'll see why that is here in a minute. So the first thing we need to do is to go through that bottom brood chamber and find the queen. As you can see, we got some population here. Well, we need to find this queen because we need to take some of this excess population and put it into the cell building box. So I know it's kind of a drag, but we gotta find this queen. I went through it a bit ago, told her to be ready when we came looking. Okay, we found her. There she is right there.
Just put your finger on her again. Yeah.
Okay, so now this brood chamber is going to come off. So what we have here is a feeder. I fed it some sugar syrup a couple hours ago, and 2 frames heavy with pollen and a fair bit of bees, but we're gonna muscle it up a little bit, and this is the box that's going to receive the freshly grafted cells. You can see there's a good honey flow on. Whoops, sorry Steve. Because that's all fresh nectar that's shaken out of that brood comb. I'm going to give it one more. I went through this hive earlier and picked out a frame with good grafting material. Made a little nick in it so I could mark it. You always know whether that's a fresh mark or not, because after a couple of days the bees will propolize that and you'll know it's not today's. So I don't want to shake it too hard and upset that larva, just a little bit. Okay, we're gonna set this double screen over the cell box with the entrance to the rear, and then we're gonna put the queen and brood box back up here. And this is why it's essential to have no other extraneous entrances, because if the field force were able to get back up to this brood chamber with the queen in it, they would. But because they're stuck on that bottom entrance, they're going to stay there. They're going to feel queenless right away, and they're going to tend to those freshly grafted queen cell cups because they don't have a choice. So the queen, still there. So she's going to go back in here with her brood frames. Okay. Okay, this is my homemade grafting tool, just a piece of brass. It was actually the core of a welding rod at one time. The way I describe what size larvae to graft is that you don't want to take the very tiniest ones. You want to take the next size up. So we want to slip under it. It's on the needle. Just want to touch down the loose end, roll away, and there she is. Touch down the loose end, roll away, and there she is. I keep track of where I'm at with my thumb. I put my thumb on the next cell. Okay, so you can see the larva on the end of my needle, and I'm just gonna, she's hanging off a little bit, so I just touch the bottom down and roll away, and there she is.
Okay, and the next pickup one. Yep.
There she is.
All right.
You get to really appreciate when you find a good frame of grafted material, and this is a dandy. Lots to choose from, and they're very well fed. If I'm not sure about how one went in, I'll put another one in that same cell, and the bees will be happy to figure it out for me. If the phone rings, I'm not going to answer it. If somebody says, let's go have coffee, I'm going to finish this before I do. It's not really a race against time, but the quicker this gets done and they get back in the bees, the better. Okay, that's it. I've filled these 2 bars. So into the frame they go. And the sooner they get back to the bees, the better. So the brood's up here. We gotta take him off.
Okay, and just remind us where the queen is.
The queen's back in the brood box, and into the swarm box, I guess we can call it, the cell box. Go the cells. Okay, this is the crucial time right now. The quicker the bees get on those cells and feed each one, the better, the more they're going to hit. So we've done everything we can. It's now up to the bees. We got a lot of young baby bees in there, and they're the ones that feed the royal jelly, so that's why it's so important to have a terrific population. That double screen is the magic component. The fact that the brood box and the queen are separated by that double screen is enough to make them feed those queen cells. I know that, you know, they can smell the queen and the brood, but that double screen separates them enough, and they will immediately jump on those queen cells and feed them. The hum we're hearing now is this unit down here that is queenless and broodless, and you know, that's the telltale sign of the bees crying for a queen. So fingers crossed they will feed a good number of those queen cell, the fresh grafts we put in there. But tomorrow we'll see. Tomorrow we'll reverse this around and see how well they did. Good morning, Steve Clifford again. We're here at the beautiful botanical gardens in Sechelt, British Columbia. We grafted some cells into this hive yesterday, and it's time to see how they did and reverse them. So I'll pop a veil on, and they've been down in that bottom box with no queen, no brood. So hopefully they've had lots of time to get those grafted cells fed. If they're not fed by now, they're not going to be, but it's pretty easy to tell whether they've hit or not. There should be a Should be a good deal of royal jelly in the cells, and the larvae should be growing. So that population has diminished, I can tell, because all the field bees will have flown out of this rear entrance and gone back and joined the bottom, which is what we wanted to happen. So what we need out of here are a couple of frames of brood to put up with those queen cells. This is the frame we grafted out of yesterday, so I know it's a good one to put up there.
Not so many bees.
Not so many bees. Yeah, like I said, the field force has transferred to down there, which is what we want. Can't have too many bees to start those queen cells. So I'm just making sure that we don't have a queen here. What I want to put up there with the queen cells is young open brood that needs feeding to draw the baby bees up there. They're going to help feed those cells. I see a started queen cell here, which is what we don't want, because if this virgin were to hatch before those queen cells come out, she would kill them all. So I don't see a queen. Okay, well, we're going to put a couple of empty frames in here. We're going to trade that double screen for a queen excluder, because once those cells are started, the bees will finish them. That's the kind of bee cover you want to see on those queen cells. Once again, all we had up here was 2 combs heavy with pollen and honey. The moment of truth. You can see the royal jelly. And I'll take this, there's 2 misses, the rest are being fed. One miss here, and the other ones simply fell off. So these go back here. Now these frames of open brood go in, one on either side of the frame of cells, and that will draw the young bees up to help feed those queen cells. As I said, once they start them, they're going to finish them and feed them. We've got a pretty nice late spring, early summer honey flow going on here, and that queen cell frame does not obey the law of bee space, so I'm going to add a couple of frames of foundation just to give that extra wax someplace to go. If this nice warm weather keeps up, there's a danger that they can build too much extra comb around those queen cells and makes it a little trickier. But until 10 days from now, that's it. We don't have to do anything else. I would feed them again if necessary, but as I just said, with this nice honey flow going on, there's no need to do anything else. So the timing is 10 days, starting today, not yesterday, the day we grafted. So 10 days from today, Friday the 2nd of June, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to harvest these cells the morning of the 10th day, starting today. Okay, hi, good afternoon, Steve again. The last time we did this, we raised some queen cells, and they're getting ready to hatch. So now we're gonna make a couple of splits to receive those queen cells. I like to do it this way. I don't find the queen. I'm just gonna go through this hive and pick out a couple of frames of brood, shake the bees off, and coop them up above a queen excluder, let the bees cover them again. The big advantage to this is I'll come and take this off, move it to a new location in the morning, and the bee distribution will be perfect. Yeah, works really well. No brood there, but you can see they're on a bit of a honey flow. They're gaining weight. So I'm certainly going to look for the queen. Don't see her. Okay, so once I got that 3-frame hole in there, it's easy to shake them all off. One last look for the queen. Once again, I don't see her. I don't see any mites on those open drone brood, which is encouraging.
Okay, just talk about what you're doing.
Okay, well, we'll put this brood in the center of this new box. Maybe clean that up a bit. And that's it. And as I said, when I come back in the morning, the bee distribution will be perfect. They'll be covering these 2 frames of brood. I'll pop this off, put it on the truck, take it to a new location. There'll be no drift. There'll be no guesswork about how to distribute the bees. And it's good that this split will sit queenless for 2 or 3 days before the queen cell goes in. They'll start emergency queen cells. That'll put them in the right mode to accept the queen cell that I put in, and it'll also act as a backup in case the queen cell we put in should fail. Morning, Steve Clifford again. We're here at the beautiful botanical gardens in Sechelt, British Columbia. This is the last little part of this video we're going to do. We're going to take the queen cells out and plant them in those nukes we made last visit. We've been on a pretty strong spring flow, so I took most of the power away from this builder so they wouldn't gum up the frame of queen cells, which you can see here. Of course, it's queenless, so they've done another one for me. They didn't hit too bad. A few fell off. And I already sold 3 this morning. That's my best excuse for those misses. Make sure there's no dead ones. If I tap them a bit, I can see the queens are in there. They all look good. This foam block is part of a plug-in cigarette lighter incubator that is in the truck. It's fine to put them in in a cooler with hot water bottles, but this is just a little handier unit. We'll show it to you when we're done here. On here it looks all right. Okay. Okay, well, this is my New Zealand manufactured carry cell. Plugs into the cigarette lighter and makes it pretty easy to carry these things around. Whoop. So simple as that, and I plugged it in an hour ago and we're almost up to the 90-degree mark. But a hot water bottle, the queen cells in an egg carton work just as well. Okay, so for the last little piece, these are the nukes we made a couple of days ago. They're good and queenless. They've started their own queen cells, which is just fine. So the cell goes in there. Then I tell people not to look at them for 2 weeks. The queen will fly and mate when she's about a week old. Then it'll take her a few days to start laying, and that's all there is to it. Okay, well, I want to thank my video friend here, Steve Sleep, for doing this. I want to thank the Seashell Botanical Gardens. Our club really appreciates having this location. We have our meetings here, and we do tours. School groups come, and we do our best to show them what the bees are about. And if there's any questions about this video, apparently there's a link. You can ask questions to us, and I think that's it.